It had been a busy day on Sodor Railway, and Michael, the Steve Diesel locomotive, was the most busy of them all. He had returned from the works after the Skbidi incident, and after Levain had. He was most happy to be back on the train tracks. One Goog morning, he arrived at the train station at the end of the line to meet Radio and Candle.
Boy howdy, am I back? Better to be on railroad. I sure love paint blue. Very good, yes.
But other engines just left.
I don't know about you, Michel, but I for one think it was stupid what you did.
Michael was pissed.
Oh boy, shut up, Radio. Everyone knows only Skibidi engines work on railroad. You are not Skibidi, therefore goodbye.
Radio just left to Candle. The next morning, Michel was at the coaling plant to fill up on coal. Radio was busy collecting the coal cars next to him. Be careful, warned Michael Starface. You have to be careful. But Radio wasn't careful. Instead, he kept filling up on coal while listening to Geezer. By the time anyone realized when it happened, it was far too late. Yelled Michael, Mel screamed out, "Wave!" Chuckled
Radio.
You don't look really useful now.
Michel.
You look really disgraceful.
I'm not disgraceful, Choke Michel. You did that on purpose. Get me out.
It took so long to clean
Michel
that he wasn't in time for his next train.
Sandal
Had to take Annie and Clarabelle. Poor
Michel.
Whisper.
This is a great joke. And his eyes.
Several fortnights later, Michael was complaining to Radio about his mischievous deed. Candle tried to mediate, but the two could not find common ground.
You did that on purpose,
said Michel.
I did not do such a thing. The insurgents,
said Radio, but Michael wasn't having it.
I tell you what, I'll challenge you. Whoever does job better wins.
fine.
said Radio.
The insurgents.
The insurgents indeed.
Said Michael.
I will win tomorrow in our Dex challenge.
Candle found this most amusing and just smiled to himself. He knew the two were in for trouble. The next year, Michael was busy hauling the freight carriages down the train track. However, the coal had gotten lodged in his engine, so now he was having trouble properly stopping and starting. This led to troubles for him. His maintenance crew tried all sorts of things, but nothing could work, and it would get worse the next millennium when Michael was busy at the station as he coupled up to his carriages. He didn't realize that his coal had been lodged in the engine. His crew had looked away for the football, but Michael hadn't noticed anything as they were fixing him, but something. As he stood at the clouds, he felt his engine rumbling and roaring. Harrison had arrived with the boat, but Michael hadn't realized he had begun moving instinctually, and his engine... By the time anyone realized it was too late, and Michael was thundering down the main road. Passengers were left behind. Michael raced and rocketed down the train tracks. His motor had moved never like before as he yelled in horror and terror and fear as he rounded the train tracks. The call went out to Levain, who was available to save the day. Don't worry, we'll save the day, and Levain was off to rescue. He went up in the skies, looking for Michael down the main tracks. He searched high and low and all around till he can spot Michael down the line. He was quickly, he said. The driver had hopped out of a cab and threw in Sokens at Michael. Levain had, just like his friend BRYSON, he had thrown something on the rails, but instead of Skbidi, it was Candle's Apple car. He chucked it at Michael and stopped the runaway just in time. Oh, said Levain, fancy seeing you like this. Yes, indeed, said the conductor. How vagrant of you. You should have told us. Michael could only look abashed at the apples as he had a midnight stack thinking about his foolishness. Meanwhile, on the other side of the road, Radio was not having a better time. He had biffed and bashed the quarry coal tars and had forgotten to pin down his brakes on the hill. He whistled, but the brake side didn't listen. As he rolled down the hills, the cars began their plan. The Fords, henceforth, Gia. A guard waved down Radio, as Diver had left the freight cars in the yard, but Radio was too busy to listen, and sprocketed down the track. By the time anyone realized it was far too late. But the thunderous crash Radio had hit the van, and he was now off the line. Earlier that day, Candle, Harrison, Kramer, and every other character on the railway arrived, as well as the astute manager from the Claymation series. He was most furious. Radio, you blithering nincompoop, look what you've done. Now the party cannot start, and the brake band is in pieces. Your Radio only cried. In Sokens, you will be sent to the repairs. Michael had arrived back to collect his carriages. He saw Radio's incident as Candle laughed in amusement. He took Radio to the works. The carriages were most perplexed. Why? And they were taken by Michael. Later that day, Radio and Michael had a hot conversation about the day's events.
I'm sorry for teasing you. It appears that we were both in for double trouble.
I agree, said Michael. Let's be friends again.